Hi, I'm Lisa Dilworth. I'm Vice President of Rare and Orphan Drug Development at Synteract, which is a CRO. I'm not going to assume everyone here knows what a CRO is. We are a clinical research organization, so we're oftentimes hired to augment researchers' needs, whether that's helping with your PK/PD profiling, actually operationalizing your trial, submitting your orphan drug designation, or monitoring the data at the sites. So specific to repurposing in rare, we're seeing a lot of clients come into this space now, and I wanted to speak to some of the challenges. A lot of clients do not realize how different it's going to be to bring a drug to market for a rare disease than it was for maybe a psoriasis or an acne. So the first thing is, I think we've all understood this today, but finding the patients can be very challenging. By the time you're in phase 2, we're often already in global trials, so you need to have a global reach and a local understanding of what the drug landscape is, what the diagnostic odyssey is, and what a patient journey looks like in multiple countries by the time you're only in phase 2 even. I do a lot of trials, for instance, looking for 30 patients with a rare disease that require me to go to 20 plus countries just to find those 30 patients. So really helping to build out your team by using a CRO is extra important in the rare space. I think we talked about this a lot today too, but we still lack validated outcome measures in rare. We tend to find these surrogate endpoints that maybe aren't appropriate. We're all sick of the 6-minute walk test. We have the performance upper limb now, but is it that great? Probably not. It's just better than a 6-minute walk test, but what isn't? So working with a CRO early on in your drug development pathway can really help you, because we can help to validate a new outcome measure for you. We can actually look and see if these outcome measures that you're identifying are even age appropriate in your population. That's something that is oftentimes underestimated, the issue here. A 6-minute walk test is very different in a 10-year-old than a 4-year-old. There's a reason it's not validated in younger children. Attention span is just one of those. Further to that, kind of understanding the disease burden itself, something that is really common and rare is that we engage with advocates now. It's become the right way to do things, to talk to the parents, to talk to the patients. But there is a difference between a patient who is closely linked to an advocacy group and a patient in a rural area who does not have access to the internet, does not have a key opinion leader as their physician, and potentially is not receiving that high standard of care. So when you're looking to craft your protocol, when you're looking at inclusion-exclusion criteria in the rare space especially, you have to think of all of the off-label meds that these kids are using. You have to think of the off-label meds that adults are using, and then you also have to think of your PK/PD profile. If you're repurposing a drug that has only been given to adults, do you even know the dose to start at in kids? Because in rare, we don't usually get start in adults. We start in kids because unfortunately these patients don't live into adulthood. The aim is to get them to live into adulthood. So that kind of ties into that lack of standard of care global consensus. You look at nusinersen and how it finally came to market. Part of the drug development planning for Ionis to get nusinersen into clinical trials was we had to mandate a standard of care. It had to be global, and we had to be very clear on what an SMA patient's treatment looks like through the progression of the disease, and especially if they were a SMA type 1, a 2, or a 3. So that might be where you have to start. You might have to really define the standard of care in this population if you're the first trailblazer in the arena. So again, that's something that a CRO can help you with. That's something that consultants can help you with, and just kind of get you through. The last thing I just want to talk about is kind of the ever-changing regulations. So again, when you're repurposing, making sure that you have access to the right people to do your orphan drug designation, prime, and breakthrough status are just a few components. But the regulations are going to change, and they're going to be different for every disease. If you are trying to repurpose a burn treatment into an epidermolysis bullosa patient, you're not getting blood draws because the FDA no longer allows it in EB patients, thank God. So just having a resource to help you navigate regulatory pathways specific to your disease and specific to your drug will be very important. That's it.